Why only 75% of Australian investors only have one investment property? Now, I wanted to do this video because I don't want someone to go out there and be one of these people, the 75% of Australian investors, when they're beginning their property investment journey, or if you've already got property and you're stuck, you can change this. Now, this is very important to know. Why? Because, like I said, if you want to invest in property, you don't want to just have one or two investment properties. It's not going to make you financially free if that's your goal. And 9 times out of 10, that's why we invest in property, of course, because we want to be financially free, but there's a little bit more to it as well, so which I'll touch on a little bit more towards the end of this video. So the very first thing that I've come up with is first one is don't get the right advice, which is number one. Now, there's multiple factors here why 75% of Australians don't have more than one investment property, but I've done my top 10. And I'm going to give you my spiel on them. So let's start with number one. They don't get the right advice. Now, they might listen to some family members. They might listen to some friends. They might listen to some people that they've met at the barbecue and they're getting some advice and they're telling them about, oh, you know what, invest in property, it gets you this amount, blah, 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 blah. And a lot of these people might be telling them all these things and they might be their closest loved ones. But if they haven't got an investment property themselves or a portfolio, they're probably not the best people to get your advice from. And I'm saying that really in a nice way because if they haven't got investment properties, what knowledge or what experience do they have if they haven't got any properties themselves? So this is something that's super important to understand when you're investing in property, getting the right advice of people that are professionals, that are well-equipped, they've got property portfolios themselves. They're at a point where you want to be down the track in 5 or 10 years or 20 years from now. And they're the people that you want to learn and grow from. They've had that experience. Number two, trying to do everything themselves. Now, you probably heard the quote, there's no such thing as a self-made person. You know, every person, if it's Oprah Winfrey, Serena Williams, Michael Jordan, Tony Robbins, whoever it may be, they all had a team around them. They did not do everything themselves. They did not get to the top by just being a lone wolf and just trying to do everything themselves. They done it with a team of professionals. And so should you when you're doing something that wants to, whatever area of your life. If you want to go to the gym, you get a personal trainer, maybe get a nutrition coach as well that helps you put a nutrition plan in place because you want to get fit for a certain event, blah, 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 whatever it may be. Same goes with property investing. You can't do everything yourself. You need a team around you. If you try to do everything yourself, you're going to get stuck. Me personally, I've got employees that do things that I'm not the best at, so I'll get them to do they do things that are working to their strengths while I'm working to my strengths as well. If I try to do everything myself, there's going to be a lot of weaknesses in certain areas, and that's where you got to get professionals, accountants, brokers, a buyer's agent, and a financial planner if you need one, depending on what route you're going down. And this is going to help you, build that team around you and that support. Next thing, purchasing the properties in their own area or own backyard. Now, this is something that we look around where we live and we always have a look and go, geez, this property market's doing so well. Look at it, it's grown X amount in a short period of time in the last 1 or 2 years or 3 years, and it's just going to keep continuing. And they just go and buy an investment property there without having to think about where that property is or that property market's in its cycle. Is that property cycle there? Is it, rising? Is it plateauing? Is it consistent? Is it just growing consistently because it's already missed out on its boom phase? Is it starting to peak at its top and then it's going to come down? So this is something to take into consideration. You can't just go investing saying, oh, it's growing up in value, I'm just going to go purchase it, because it doesn't work like that. You've probably missed the hype. You've probably missed the 5 years of growth that's coming into a market. The first 5 years of a growth or a boom phase, I should say, those first 5 years are crucial. And you want to be getting in that first 6 months to 12 months. Now, I like to get in there 6 months as early as I can. If I miss out on 1 year of capital growth, I can go to other markets and capture the first 5 years as well. So it's super important not getting there too late to the party. Now, when you do purchasing in your own backyard, but 9 times out of 10, which we go to number 4, those properties are going to be negative gearing, depending if you're living close to the CBD. These properties are going to cost you a significant amount of money. And if you're looking at houses or even townhouses, those properties are not going to put money in your pocket. If anything, they're going to take money away from your pocket. Now, negative gearing is a tax benefit, helping you not have to pay tax. But at the end of the day, the property is costing you money. If that's costing you $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 a year to hold that property, and it's taking it out of your own money to put down on the property, that's a lot of money. And a lot of that money can be going towards interest repayments, which is costing you, and that's actually not paying down the property. So this is something to take into consideration, that you're not going down the route of negative gearing, because, majority of people that do use negative gearing they've only got one investment property. So you don't want to be stuck there. Now, next step, purchasing the wrong asset at the very beginning. Now, people might go out there and they might buy an apartment at the very beginning. They might go buy a townhouse. They might go buy a house, whatever it may be. And they buy in a wrong location, and maybe that property is not growing in value, or maybe it's decreasing in value. And that's going to hold you back, because as soon as it starts decreasing, your LVR, or your debt to income ratio, is starting to get outweighed by debt, because now the value of the property has actually dropped in value. As the property has dropped in value and the property has dropped in value, but you haven't paid off any of the loan, and what will happen is your debt gets higher, or you become more of a higher risk client because you've got a high risk asset. So this is something to take into consideration. And maybe some people as well, they might buy a wrong asset by what they do is they might go and buy a really, really good quality property in a good high growth area and max out their maximum borrowing capacity, and they shouldn't have done that, and then they can't borrow again. So that can happen as well. So there's multiple things when it comes to this question number 5, purchasing the wrong asset. Some people might purchase too heavily in, really, really high cash flow yielding properties in rural towns, or in maybe in a mining town. And what happened is that property is doing well, then all of a sudden it's just dropped. Or maybe the property, or they purchased these properties and they haven't gone up in value, and they've got stuck in their journey. So this is important as well to make sure you do your right due diligence. Number 6, I guess, focusing on capital growth as well. A lot of people just target capital growth, and that's all they think they need in property investing, which you need both. You need cash flow and capital growth. You can't just have one or the other, otherwise you're going to be stuck. It's like a pendulum. You need both. They're going to help you with your serviceability. They're going to help you with your building wealth through the capital growth as well. If you just get it stuck on capital growth, you're going to find you're going to get maxed out and you can't borrow anymore. If you're too leveraged in cash flow, now you might use all your you might have significant cash flow coming in, but then you got no capital growth to live off the properties, and by taking lines of credit, by using equity to purchase more property. So this is something where you got to have a balance of these properties. Next thing, not understanding the game of finance. This is a very tricky part of the property investing game, and this is where you got to have a good broker on your team that can give you the right advice and say, okay, if you're trying to build a property portfolio, what steps do I need to take? What sort of asset classes do I need? What sort of yield do I need? How many properties can I get with my budget? Or, how should I break it down? And so this is something to take in consideration, because property is a game of a debt to income ratio. Now, imagine your income. The higher your income, the more debt you can borrow. Now, it doesn't mean you go out there and just max out on your borrowing capacity. You've got to break that down to achieve your goals. If that's to have $100,000 of passive income, what's that look like? And what sort of properties do I need at the beginning? And so a good broker can put you on the right path to understanding, okay, this is what I need to do moving forward. So understanding the game of finance is super important, so you don't get stuck at the very beginning. Next thing, treating property investing like a hobby. A lot of people go out there and just invest in property, and they treat it like a hobby. Property investing is a business. Okay, it's a business transaction. If you treat it like a business and you want to make a profit through property investing, you're going to get the results. A lot of people will just go out there and start investing without a plan, without a purpose. And what happens is they don't treat it like a business, and the property portfolio or the property, it just sits there. They've got no understanding. They've got no knowledge behind it. They don't know how to, increase the income, increase the value of the property, how to, get the most out of their situation, because they're just blindly going through the motions and not having a plan in place. If you start a business and you don't, let's say you don't have a business, but you want to start a business, are you in business to make a profit, or are you in business to make a loss? And I think 99% of people are going to say we're in for a profit. So if you treat your property portfolio like a business, you'll get a result like you want through a business. Next thing, using the first home buyers grants. So I hear a lot of people that go, I'm going to buy in my local in my backyard. I'm going to buy an investment property. I'm going to take opportunity. I'm going to take advantage of the first home buyers grant. I'm going to buy this investment property, live in it for 1 year, then rent it out, so I don't have to pay the stamp duty. Now that's all good and all, but 9 times out of 10, those investment properties aren't the right investment for yourself. And you're buying that home and you're living into that home first you're going to live there for a year or two maybe, and then you're going to rent it out. How do you know that if the rental market is increasing? How do you know if it's going to be a good investment in the future? You're purchasing maybe that property with emotion, which leads me to my last one. You're using emotion to buy that investment property. And you're just saying, oh, we're going to live in it for 1 or 2 years maybe, then rent it out. You're using your first home buyer's deposit scheme, or stamp duty scheme, I should say, to buy an investment property because you're going to rent it out after the 1 or 2 years. Wouldn't it be smarter to actually save that first home buyer's grant and actually just use it for when you actually do buy a family home? Because that's something that you can take into consideration. You're wasting that stamp duty rebate. So that's something to take into consideration, not just having a look in your own backyard and saying, okay, I'm just going to take advantage of the first home buyer's grant. They've been around for years, decades they've been around for. So this is something to make sure that you're not buying with emotion as well, which leads me, like I said, number 10, you're buying strictly on numbers, on why you're buying there is because the property is going to go up X amount of value because of infrastructure program, movement of people, economic drivers, GDP increasing over time, etc. You're investing there as well because of your cash flow situation. It's going to help you with your finance. It's going to help improve your personal situation by putting more income in your pocket. Not just that, it's going to help you improve your borrowing capacity. So you're buying there strictly with logic, not emotion. You don't care about what the bathroom looks like. You don't care what if the kitchen's a little bit outdated. You don't care about the feature wall in the bedroom. All you care about the property is durable. It's in a good location. It's solid. It's not going to cost you money to hold for a significant amount of years. It doesn't have any problems or any defects with it. You're buying there because on a good sized block, you can add value to it. You can do a subdivision. You can add a granny flat. You can do a development in the future, whatever it may be. You're buying because of logic. You're buying because of numbers. Okay, you're not buying because of emotional attachment, or you don't like the garden, you don't like the landscape, you don't like the color of the bricks. No, you're buying because of numbers, like I said. Of course, you want the property to be well maintained, looks nice, presentable as well, but the numbers are the main important fundamental when you're investing in property. Last one, I haven't put it here, which should be number 1. You should have a plan. 99% of Australians that invest in property do not have a plan. That's why 0.4 of Australians have 3 or more investment properties, because the majority of Australian investors do not have a plan. What's their goal? Why are you investing in property? People go, why? Because I want to be financially free. Yes, 99% of the people invest in property. That's why they want to invest in property. But why? What is it? Do you want to put your kids through private school? Do you want to give back to the world and maybe start a charity or donate, tens of thousands of dollars? Do you want to, have a passive income goal to retire early and not have to work as hard, or maybe start a business by using your property to help you as a financial backing, and you can quit your day job and start your own business that you've always wanted to start? Whatever it may be, that plan, that why is going to drive you to success. And when you have a plan and you know what you need to target, what that passive income goal is, you can scale it and say, what sort of properties do I need? How many properties do I need? And when can I achieve this by? It's like you go on a road trip. You want to travel, let's say, around Australia. You plan it out on a map. You say to yourself, okay, we're going here, whatever it may be. You pack your bags, you pack the car, you jump in the car. What's the first thing you do? You put the GPS on with the coordinates of where you're going. Same thing with property investing. You need a plan. What properties you need to target? When do you need to target and buy? The cash flow, the equity capture you need to achieve, and what sort of assets do you need? So this is important. So hopefully you got something from this. You don't want to be, like I said, 75% of Australians that only have one investment property. You want to make sure that you are going to be able to buy investment properties that are going to help you achieve your goals and give you more clarity to the roadmap of where you want to be. So make sure you do not get stuck. Make sure you get the right advice. Make sure you speak to people that can help you, that bring them on your team. Look around, study, educate yourself about finances, educate about yourself about property fundamentals. What makes a property desirable or a location, grow in value, and what influences the market. Learn about infrastructure projects, learn about economic drivers, learn about vacancy rates, your stock on markets, your median rents, and all the rest of it. Have a team of people around you, understand what sort of properties you need. You need those cash flow properties at the beginning of your property portfolio, because maybe you're someone on a low income or $60,000 to $80,000 per year. And then maybe if you're someone that, you're making 150 plus per year, you maybe need different asset classes to the person that is on the $60,000, $80,000 per year. So that comes down to your personal situation. Treat property as a business, not like a hobby. Purchase investment properties using logic, sense, and understanding why, because the numbers, not because of emotion. Okay, so hopefully you got something from this, which I definitely you would, because a lot of people don't take this into consideration, and that's why majority of people that invest in property don't make a living off property. So if you do want to make a living, make sure you follow these tips. And if you do need help, please message us and get in contact with us so we can help you and put a plan in place if you want to achieve a certain goal in a certain time frame. I can help you get there faster and quicker than 75% of Australians that invest in property. Thank you for watching the video. If you like it, please like, subscribe, share this video with other people if you know that are about to start the investment journey, so they don't make the same mistakes as these other property investors in Australia. Thank you for watching this video.